At some point in your life, you were told, directly or indirectly, that who you are is not quite enough. So you started performing a version of yourself you thought people would like more. And the painful irony? The more you performed, the less magnetic you became, because magnetism is not built by changing who you are. It is uncovered by finally becoming it. Most self-improvement advice is built on a lie. The lie is this: that there is something fundamentally wrong with you that needs to be fixed, that your personality is the problem, that your introversion, your quietness, your sensitivity, your intensity, these are defects that need to be corrected before anyone will truly want to be around you. And so people spend years trying to be louder versions of themselves. They take courses on how to be more extroverted. They practice scripts for how to seem more charming. They watch charismatic people and try to copy their energy. And after all of that, they still feel invisible. Not because the effort was wrong, but because the premise was wrong. This video is not about how to become someone else. It is about something far more powerful: understanding why your authentic self, developed and expressed correctly, is the most magnetic thing you could possibly offer the world. By the end of this, you will understand exactly what magnetic people actually do, and you will realize that most of it you are already capable of. The performance trap. There is a term in psychology called self-monitoring. Self-monitors are people who constantly adjust their behavior based on how they think others want them to be. They read the room and then reshape themselves to fit it. They are likable, adaptable, impressive in first impressions. But here is what research consistently finds: high self-monitors are rarely deeply trusted. They are rarely the people others feel genuinely close to, because somewhere beneath the performance, people sense it. The brain is wired to detect inauthenticity, the same way it detects a smell that is slightly off. You cannot always name it, but you feel it. Now think about the people in your life who you would describe as magnetic. Really think about them. Chances are, they are not the most polished. They are not performing for you. They say what they actually think. They are comfortable with who they are in a way that most people simply are not. And that comfort, that ease of being, is what pulls people in. Not their energy, not their looks, not their social skills, their willingness to simply be without apology. The Science of Authentic Attraction, a landmark study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, found that people who display what researchers called authentic self-expression, meaning they behave consistently with their core values and personality regardless of social context, were rated as significantly more trustworthy, more likable, and more attractive to be around. Not because they were more entertaining, not because they were more impressive, because they were more real. There is a neurological reason for this. When you are in the presence of someone who is genuinely comfortable with themselves, your nervous system relaxes. The threat detection part of your brain quiets down. You stop calculating, stop analyzing, stop wondering what this person really means. And that feeling of safety, that ease, is what you interpret as magnetism. The person is not doing anything extraordinary. They are simply not creating friction. And in a world where most people are performing, the absence of performance feels extraordinary. What you are actually missing here is the part that will sting a little, and I say this with complete respect. The reason most people feel they lack magnetism is not because they are boring or unremarkable. It is because they have spent so long suppressing the parts of themselves they were told were too much, or not enough, that they no longer fully know what their authentic self even looks like. Maybe you were told as a kid that you were too sensitive, so you learned to hide your depth. Maybe you were told that your opinions were too strong, so you learned to hedge every thought you shared. Maybe you were made to feel that your quietness was awkward, so you learned to fill every silence with noise that meant nothing. And now the person people meet is not the real you. It is a carefully edited version designed to avoid rejection. And carefully edited versions of people are never magnetic. Magnetic people have done the opposite. They have sat with themselves long enough to know what they actually believe, what they actually value, what they actually feel, and they have developed the courage to let that be seen. Not loudly, not forcefully, just clearly. 3 specific shifts. So what does this actually look like in practice? 3 specific shifts. First, stop managing other people's reactions to you. Every time you soften a true opinion because you are worried someone will disagree, you are managing their reaction. Every time you change your answer because someone pushed back, you are managing their reaction. Stop. Say what you mean. Hold it calmly. Let people respond however they respond. You are not responsible for their reaction. You are responsible for your honesty. Second, let people see you before you are ready. Most people only show up when they feel polished. They only speak when they are sure they are right. They only share when they know it will land well. Magnetic people share the unfinished thought. They ask the question they are not sure is smart. They show up in the middle of figuring things out, and that vulnerability, that realness, creates connections that polished performances never could. Third, stop abandoning yourself in the middle of conversations. This one is subtle. It is the moment you are telling a story and you see someone's expression change slightly, and you immediately cut the story short, apologize for it, pivot to something safer. That small act of self-abandonment, repeated across thousands of interactions, trains your brain to believe your natural self is not worth the space. And people sense that belief. Stay with the story. Finish the thought. Trust that what you have to say matters. Emotional final blow, highest retention of entire video. Want to leave you with something that I think is genuinely important. The version of you that you have been hiding, the one you edited out because you were afraid it was too much or not enough. That version is not your weakness. That is your magnetism. The sensitivity you were told to toughen up, that is empathy. And empathy is one of the most powerful human connectors in existence. The intensity you were told to dial back, that is passion. And passion is magnetic in a world full of indifference. The quietness you were told to fix, that is depth. And depth is rare in a culture obsessed with noise. You were not given the wrong personality. You were given the wrong instructions for it. The most magnetic people you will ever meet are not the ones who changed the most. They are the ones who stopped changing and started owning. That is the work, not reconstruction. Reclamation. See you in the next one. If this perspective challenged the way you have been thinking about yourself, subscribe. Every video on this channel is about one thing, helping you show up as the most genuine, most capable version of who you already are. That is the work, and it is worth doing.